Hi, I'm Marty, and I have rheumatoid arthritis. I started taking rituximab in March, infusion numbers 1 and number 2, and now it's September. It's time for my second set of infusions. So yesterday I had infusion number 3. When I had my first 2 infusions, with my very first one, I had a pretty big reaction with hives all through my torso and chest and neck. I had a severe headache, severe headache that lasted for days. I was given dexamethasone, and they slowed down the IV, and I was able to complete it before they closed at 5 o'clock. This time, and then number 2, infusion back in March, 2 weeks later. Kind of a similar situation, a headache, not quite as severe, hives, not quite as severe, and I felt pretty good afterwards. I had a little headache that was controllable by Tylenol, and I felt pretty good afterwards. And wow, after about 8 weeks, I felt fabulous. Now, this medicine doesn't only help with rheumatoid arthritis, but I have rheumatoid vasculitis. It comes up in little spots on my fingertips around the edges of my nails, and I don't have any right now because rituximab fixed it, stopped it from happening. So I love this medicine. I'll do anything to keep it. I've not felt this good and arthritis free for 37 years that I've had arthritis. I was diagnosed when I was 30. I'm 67 now. So yeah, it's been a long time of lots of pain. I've had other medications that made me feel pretty good, but not arthritis free, not flare free. I've got pains and discomforts from age and from injury from arthritis, but I'm not having any flares. It's amazing. So yesterday I went in ready to roll. Little bit nervous. I started out before I left the house and I took a 0.5 milligram Xanax because I was really nervous. My biggest concern is that I'm going to have so much of a response with having hives that they're going to take it away from me. And I'll do anything to keep taking this medication. So I got there, and I've got a cheat sheet here in my lap if you're wondering why I keep looking down. I arrived at the infusion center at 8:25. The nurses had, the staff had just arrived. They opened at 8:30. They took me back close to 9 to start the IVs. I'm a hard stick. They started out trying to give me an IV in the middle of my arm, right there. There's a little spot. Oh, I'm wrinkled, sorry. There's a little spot right there, middle of my arm. And it was dry. It didn't work. So they ended up giving me an IV right there in my elbow. See the little bruise? Mm-hmm. So in my elbow, which I hate. It's like, first of all, I don't like them to put an IV there because that's where they take blood, and I have a lot of scars because I was getting blood work every 2 weeks for years, and it's kind of hard to find a good place to get a good stick. So I don't like to get an IV there because when I go for blood work, it makes it harder for me. But it worked, and the reason I don't like it too is that when you have an IV, you're sitting there all day. For me, from 9 o'clock until 5 o'clock with my arms straight on a pillow, because if I bend it, it goes beep, 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 and you can see on the dispensary thing that the IV has stopped working because I bent my elbow. Even after I straighten it and it starts working, the nurse has to come over and push the buttons to make it stop beeping. So they started me with 10 milligrams of dexamethasone. They call it Dexa. Same thing I got last time, but this time they pre-medicated me instead of waiting until I got any itching. So they pre-medicated me they got the IV started at about 9:15. At 9:45, they pre-medicated me with the dexamethasone. And then at 10, they gave me in my IV too, 25 milligrams of Benadryl and 2 Tylenol orally. Now, the reason they kind of took their time was they have to defrost that. I think it's frozen, if I'm not mistaken, the rituximab. And once you're there and they're sure you're ready for it, then they start defrosting it once they get the IV going. Because if they can't get an IV going on someone, they've wasted an entire $45,000 bag of rituximab. That's what it costs in the United States for the medication, for all the medications and the seat in the oncology unit for the doctors, nurses, and everything. It totals $45,000 that my insurance covers. I have Medicare, and I also buy a Part G gap insurance that covers what Medicare doesn't. Medicare covers 80%, so that would be all but about $9,000, I think. And then I would have to pay the rest if I didn't have the gap insurance. But the gap insurance pays everything that Medicare doesn't. If Medicare covers it, gap covers it. If Medicare doesn't cover it, gap doesn't cover it. And it's not considered medication if it's given to you in the hospital setting like that, in the oncology setting. So if it's medicine that I get at home, like from the pharmacy, then that's through my prescription coverage. Totally different. So there you go. Gap insurance costs for me about $200 a month. I have AARP. I'm not a fan of AARP, but that's the insurance that works best with my illness and the medications that I take, the doctors that I see. So I have AARP gap insurance. I think it's Aetna. And it's about $200 a month, but well worth it for me. Anytime I go to the hospital, anytime I have surgery, I pay $0. Yeah. So I received 10 milligrams of dexamethasone, Dexa, at 9:45. At 10, they gave me in my IV. That was IV. At 10, they administered IV 25 milligrams of Benadryl and gave me 2 Tylenol orally. At 10:30, the rituximab was started. It's a bag. It's like a giant saline bag. It's clear. And it's 1,000. She said it was 1,000 milligrams, but then here it says milliliters. Are milliliters and milligrams the same thing? I don't know. Echo, are milliliters and milligrams the same thing?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, no. Milligrams are measures of mass, and milliliters are measures of volume.
Milligrams are measures of mass, milliliters are measures of volume. I think it's milliliters, not milligrams. 1,000 milliliters were in the bag. So there's this big bag of 1,000. It's like a huge bag of saline. It was started at a slow drip, and she gave me this copy of what she does. So if you want to see how it's dispensed, it's every half an hour she goes up. So she starts out at 60.2 milliliters an hour, and if I tolerate that, half hour later it goes up to 90. If I tolerate that, a half hour later it goes to 120, and so on. Topping at 241 milliliters an hour for the remainder of the time that I'm there until it's gone. Well, I had a reaction. At 12:30, I noticed that my underarms were itching. It had just upped. So shortly after 12:30, my underarms were itching, and I think it was up to the top amount. Well, let's see. It started at 10:30, 11, 11:30, 12, 12:30, 10:30, 11, 11:30, 12, 12:30. Yeah, it was up to 241 milliliters an hour. And I noticed as soon as it went up that I started itching. My armpits itched. My mouth itched. My right eye itched. In fact, it's still a little. I think they both were because they were both red when I got home. But see, underneath it, I've got a puff. I just look tired anyway. I'm tired. So I do have hooded eyelids. But yeah, it doesn't look the same. It's not as open as well as this one is. No. Anyway, my right eye, it felt like there were 10 eyelashes under my eyelid. It was intense. And my armpits were intense all around. Not just my armpits, but down my arms all the way to here. All the way. Down to my ribs. Down my ribs, up, around, and on my back too. but not my neck and my chest like it was with my first infusion and my second infusion. Odd. Also, I noticed that the right side of my uvula was itching. It started hurting after a while, but it itched at first. So as soon as I mentioned that I was, it's like, nay, something's wrong. Carrie, something's wrong. They came flying over. They stopped my medicine. The doctor came over and they gave me, at 12:50, they gave me 20 milligrams of Pepsin. Pepsin is a stomach medication, but it also stops irritation from rashes. So they gave me 20 milligrams of Pepsin, 25 more milligrams of Benadryl. This is all in the IV. And then that was at 12:50. And at 1:40, another 10 milligrams of dexamethasone. So that's 2 doses of Dexa, 2 doses of Benadryl from about 10 o'clock to 1:40. Not quite 4 hours. That's a lot of medicine, and it knocks me out. The Benadryl. I don't take medicine. I don't take extra stuff if I can avoid it. I don't take extra medicine because I want anything I take to be for my rheumatoid arthritis, and I don't want to be so used to it that it's not going to work. That's why I don't take really strong pain medicine. I only take Tylenol unless I have to take something like oxycodone. But usually at home, I don't even have oxycodone around. I just have Tylenol because I want it to work. I don't take any histamines because I want this to work when I need it. I don't want to be desensitized to it. So got that, and they started me back on lower dose of the rituximab, and I started back up with the hives again. So what they gave me worked. It slowed the hives. There were some dots, but not as intense. There wasn't as much itching, so it was good. So they started me back, and it came back. So they contacted my rheumatologist at 225, and he said to give me 60 milligrams of Solumedrol, Solumedrol. Now, I've had a Medrol dose pack before. I don't know if it's the same thing. It's not prednisone. It's prednisolone. Solumedrol. So I took that. It worked. It was in my IV. And the Rituxan was started back. And then he said to start the Rituxan back at a lower, more tolerable dose. So at 1:40, at 2:25, I took the Solumedrol, and an hour later, they started me back on the Rituxan at 120 milliliters an hour until I had to leave at 5. And sadly, there were still 300 milliliters of Rituxan left in the IV bag that did not go into me. Liquid gold got left behind. It's only good the day that it's defrosted and ready to roll. So it got thrown away. How sad. Horribly disappointing that I didn't get my full dose. Really concerning that it's not going to work as well because I didn't get it all. But I will get another shot at it in 2 weeks on the 16th, I think it is, that I go back for my second dose of this second try. So it's actually my 4th dose because I had 1, 2 in March and 3, 4 here in September. So I think that's on the 16th I go back. That was disappointing to leave it behind. Now, here's a question. I've lost a lot of weight since March. In the last year and a half, I've lost 48 pounds. I'm 126 and a half pounds. That's what I was yesterday morning after I went to the restroom, before I drank anything, in my nightgown. When I got home after 3 different doses of steroids, let's see, what did I eat yesterday? I didn't have time to eat breakfast, and we stopped at McDonald's, which we never, ever, ever, ever eat fast food. We stopped at McDonald's, and we got a McDonald's breakfast sandwich. I was shocked at the price. It was like $4.50 for this one little, it was like an egg and a piece of cheese and a piece of Canadian bacon in a roll. What kind of roll was that? The chewy one. What's that called? English muffin. So I started to eat that, and it was good. I've not had one in years and years, and it was pretty good. But I was only about a half finished with it when we pulled into the oncology parking lot, because the IVs are given at an oncology center. There are people there with cancer, and they've got cancer because they have a port that they access to get their IVs. And they're in and out in a heartbeat. And I'm there all day long, so I see people come and go all day. When we got in the parking lot, it turned into a rock in my stomach. And I think I took another bite and I gave the rest to my husband, because my nerves took over and I couldn't handle it. So that's what I had for breakfast. That and a cup of coffee. Coffee was good. I drank that before we left the house. And water, lots of water, because I always drink a lot of water the day before and the day of my IV, so they can find a vein, because again, I have teeny tiny veins and it's hard for them to find them, and they're scarry and valvy. Yeah. For lunch, I ate a half a sandwich. It's not what I wanted. I asked Mark to bring me a Publix smoked turkey sandwich with mayonnaise, lettuce, salt, and pepper. And evidently he didn't want to go to Publix. He went to Costco, and he called me and said, "This looks good, want it?" It's like, sure, that'll work. And it was a spicy chicken, I don't even know what it's called, an Indian type chicken that's cooked. I can't remember what it's called, but it was good. It tasted good, but it didn't sit well with me. It was too spicy, and it had cabbage and onion in a roll, in a wrap, and I ate half of one, and it had yogurt and mint dip that you dip it in and eat. That was pretty good. It was delicious, but it wasn't what I wanted. I think it was just too much with everything that was going on that day. So I didn't eat that much. I ate, a half a roll. That was it. And water. And I brought a protein bar with me, but it never occurred to me to eat it. And then for supper, Mark bought at Costco while he was lasagna, and I ate a piece of lasagna. Not a lot, just a little square. And a piece of garlic bread. So it was a lot of spicy stuff that day, and I think I had enough chemicals in me. I didn't need that spice. But I'm okay. But it was wild this morning to get up and weigh, and I was 129 pounds instead of 126 and a half pounds I was the morning before. But I think it was from all the 3 different doses of steroids. And maybe I'm still a little swollen from having hives and rash, and it probably was inside of me as well as outside of me, so it's probably in my insides too. But so disappointing to leave that medicine behind and not get it. Good things were I didn't get an intense headache this time. I didn't have body aches. Those lasted for days. I actually was nauseated afterwards too with my first dose, and I kind of was anticipating severe headache, body aches, nausea, diarrhea. I had that with my very first dose. And I thought, well, it's been 6 months, so this is another first dose. But no, it's either that I didn't get the whole bag full, or I'm just accustomed to it now, assimilated to it, and it didn't bother me as bad. Had a very mild headache that came and went during the infusion. And I still have a very, very mild headache that comes and goes. I actually took 1 Tylenol and it left. So I might do that after we finish chatting, because I did that this morning, and it's 3:30 right now. So I have a very mild headache, but it's not debilitating. They do want me to pre-med next time, is what the doctor said. He wants me to get some dexamethasone and 25 milligrams of Tylenol, and 25 milligrams of Benadryl and 1,000 milligrams of Tylenol before I arrive for my next appointment. So I'll take that at 8 o'clock. When I get there at 8:30, they'll be ready to pop that IV in. I guess probably more like 9. But last time they had to wait until 10 before they could start the medications, because the time it took to do the IV, the time it took for the pre-meds to work. So hopefully they'll be able to start it earlier. If I do have a reaction, I'll have more time, and they're not going to raise it up past 120 or 180 milliliters. So hopefully I won't get any response, physical response to it. Headaches, I don't care about. You know what's wild is I haven't had a headache. I get regular headaches. Headaches are a normal part of my life. I've always gotten headaches, at least one a week, always. And during this last 6 months, I haven't had a headache at all. It's incredible. No headaches. So I did contact my doctor, my rheumatologist, and I asked him 2 things. First of all, I requested that he not stop the rituximab because it's the first time I felt like a normal person, so healthy, so unarthritic in 37 years. In the 37 years that I've had rheumatoid arthritis, this is the first time I've felt regular. I've got pains and aches because I'm 67 and I've had a lot of damage from arthritis, rheumatoid and osteoarthritis. I've had surgeries. You know, I was an active teenager, so tennis and acrobatics and ballet and point and tap and all of that all of my life surely has caused some damage to my body. Plus, I played baseball in high school. I was a busy person. And I was walking on my hands and doing walkovers and cartwheels between my 2 pregnancies from my first baby, my son, who was 3 when my second child was born. I could walk across the front yard on my hands. I was 30 when my second child was born, and just 2 weeks later, he was born, and, well, he was born 4 days after my birthday. My birthday is April 20th. His is the 24th. And 2 weeks after he was born, I had a humongous flare. Full body, everything was in pain. I was stuck like this. My jaw was stuck, my hands were stuck, my feet were incredibly painful. I could barely walk. I couldn't pick my baby up. I had to call my mother, who lived about 3 miles away, to come and save me, because I called her. It's like, something's really wrong. You need to come here now. And there's another video a while back. I think it's called, I'll attach it right there at the end of this video. Anyway, so I'm good. I don't want to stop taking Rituxan, and that's what I sent the note to my doctor that said, please don't take it away from me. It works. I don't want to stop taking it. Just because I have hives is no reason to quit giving it to me. But I also asked him, because we're with the UF hospital, University of Florida Hospital, which is out of Gainesville. I'm in Jacksonville. We have a couple of hospitals, 2 or 3 hospitals here that are University of Florida. And my doctor's through University of Florida Medical Center. But I asked him to please not stop. Don't make me stop taking Rituxan. And I also asked him if there was an oncology center or a infusion center at the hospital that's open more than just 8:30 to 5, 8:30 to 4:30 are their true hours, that I could get an extended IV so that I could have it at the lowest dose and get all of my medication. So those are my 2 requests. I hope that he can find something that works for me. Maybe just this lower 700 milliliters of medicine will be enough for me with my size. Who knows? I'm looking at my eyes. I've got a little eye and a big eye because this one was so swollen and puffy today. It's pushed my eye back. Anyway, you guys, I feel a lot better this time than I did after my first infusion. This is my first infusion. And I was anticipating feeling really sick for a week. and I don't feel sick. I've been up and around. I'm tired. I'm taking it easy because I think that I need to take it easy. I just had a whole bunch of chemicals added to my body, and I want to feel good and I want it to work. So I'm lounging in my bed today. You see it, my headboard, my blue walls I never cared for, but oh my gosh, I sleep so well in here with this dark room. It was like this when we bought the house. It's like, that's going. I thought this would be the first thing we did was change the wall color. I just got blank. I just got covers that kind of match. I like it. And that weird thing above my bed too. I like that too. Anyway, sorry, tangents. Anyway, well, I feel good. I got dressed today. I'm not in my nightgown. I'm wearing regular clothes. I did, when I start my medicine, I start out with, I can do all things through Jesus Christ who strengthens me. And that just seems to be my mantra over and over again when they start the IV, because it's scary. At least I feel scared. I'm not afraid of the IV. I'm afraid the medicine's not going to work. That's my fear. I'm afraid I'm going to have such bad reaction that they're going to stop it. That's my fear. My fear came real yesterday. They did stop it. And then somebody sent me something the other day. It's 2 Corinthians 4:8. And it is, for although you are pressed on every side, you will not be crushed. And I felt pressed, I'm telling you what. But I wasn't crushed. I felt pressed about the fear of them not letting me have it. That they stopped it for such a long time, and I knew I wasn't going to get the full dose. But I'm not crushed. I'm good. Okay, you guys, have a nice day. Like, join, what is it called? Join, sign up, whatever it's called. When you like, it changes something that lets other people interested in rheumatoid arthritis and rituximab and IVs, it sends it into their feed somehow. My desire is just to help one person, just to help somebody feel better about what they're doing and let them know that there is hope, that it really worked for me. It may not work for you. I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you what to take, what to do. It might not work for you, but other things may work for you that didn't work for me at all. So this is working for me. So if you can find something that works for you, yay. So like and sign up, whatever that's called. I'm going to put the video about being diagnosed right there. And I'm going to put my picture right there. And you can click on that and it'll let you join. So that. All right, you guys, have a great day. Don't let your disabilities define who you are. I won't let them Don't let your disabilities define who you are. I won't let them define me. I'm a happy, healthy person. Have a great day. Bye-bye.